Hi there, and in this video, I'm going to give you an overview of my teacher training course. The one I'm talking about is this one right here. So, teaching one-to-one and ESP. For this video, I'm just going to focus on the teaching one-to-one. Okay, so first of all, I'll just outline my approach and an overview then of the course. So I propose taking a potentially unexpected approach to delivering this teaching one-to-one component to this two-tiered training course. Half of your homework will be done in advance of each session. In that, I propose spending the first 20 minutes of our 60-minute sessions reflecting, riffing even, and answering between 3 and 5 of your own questions. And what I mean by riffing, going back and forth, bouncing ideas and kind of trying to intuit some things out and come to maybe even novel ideas for certain circumstances that we might role play. What would we do in such and such a case, for example? That's really what I'm getting at. So this is so as to take a looped input approach to demonstrate to you how such a technique would translate to the teaching environment. So what I really mean there is I'm going to set up our training course in a similar way that you would set up a one-to-one language session in terms of the techniques and the kind of way that I'll build out the framework of the session towards achieving a learning goal. And we'll look at those goals now in a moment. I have 4 of them set out for this course. So by the end of the course, oops, I kind of jumped ahead there a little bit. By the end of our course, I also propose to present methods and approaches useful in teaching one-to-one. In particular, we'll deal with, the cornerstones of teaching, really. So classroom management, needs analysis. This is going to be very important, especially for the purpose of one-to-one, lesson planning, and materials. In particular, we'll look at 2 aspects of materials, so adapting currently published materials for the purpose of one-to-one, but also the use and leveraging of ICT. Okay, so I kind of set the objectives out into problems that we can set out to solve. Problems that even though that we have maybe done very well on our CELTA course, thinking about all of those techniques and methods, approaches, frameworks, etc. How would all of that play out in the one-to-one language environment? Especially here, for example, I said, how does PPP fit in where there is only one interaction, teacher-student? And now, I say PPP as much as to say any framework. So it could be test-teach-test, task-based learning, whatever it may be, whether it be a text-based presentation of language or a receptive skills lesson. Which sub-skills are you going to deal with, or how do you deal with sub-skills in a one-to-one lesson? So PPP is just for an example there. So we'll look at how the learning dynamic compares and contrasts with a group setting. We'll also look at the value of needs analysis, both from a level or a linguistic point of view, as well as personal goals that the learner may have. We'll also then, of course, have to think about lesson planning. You want to have your life as stress-free as it would be as if you're teaching groups. You want to be able to expect the same kind of levels of preparation for teaching one-to-one as you would for teaching groups, even though most of the materials seem to be geared towards groups. However, we'll look at ways of kind of bridging those gaps. And then, as I mentioned, our ICT tools to enhance one-to-one teaching. So we look at voice software and hardware, video software and hardware, and screen capture software and hardware. And So just to state out, like, what is the objective? You know, to prepare you to deliver effective, student-centered one-to-one ESL lessons. So if you're happy with this proposal for the course, then we can go ahead and start planning some sessions and timetabling and those kinds of things. So let me know what you think of this, and I look forward to hearing from you. Thank you.